All right, we're continuing to take your questions when it comes to the HOPE program, as well as rental and utility assistance programs in cities and counties, and also the eviction moratorium. All right, so this person is asking, what is the HOPE program number again? Because they're saying that a lot of families need assistance and can't operate a computer.
Right, so the number is 888-9-ASK-HOPE. And that's 888-927-5467. And the call center can walk you through the application and take a verbal signature.
888-ASK-HOPE. That's easy.
9-ASK-HOPE.
9-ASK-HOPE. Okay, gotcha. All right. So this person is saying, I'm currently living in a hotel. I'm wondering if you can help with hotel vouchers. Randall?
We can assist if the hotel is your primary residence. We can look at assistance based on your individual situation for the hotel cost.
Okay, and that is in Greensboro, Guilford County, but the HOPE program does not allow right now for vouchers if you're living in a hotel. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. This person says, if I live in one of those gray areas, who do I contact? And so we showed that big map of the state of North Carolina, and if you live in one of those gray counties, you're either going to contact your city or your county, depending on whether you live in the city limits or whether you live in the county limits. So there is a look at that map again. So if you are in a gray area, that means you are contacting your city or your county, and you're asking them to be transferred to whatever rent and utilities assistance line that you need to be done with that. All right, so this next person is saying, as a landlord who has tried to get their tenant to receive help, but the tenant refused, I'm going to be evicting them. I know it's not same day eviction, so when should I start the paperwork? And I think we've got two schools of thought here. Randall, I know you wanted to jump in to maybe help the landlord out.
Right. For any landlord who wants to apply on the behalf of the tenant, they can do so. You can just call our general number 641-3000 and we can walk you through the process. We would still need some information from the tenant, and hopefully with us working together, we could get that verification of income and the issues surrounding the COVID crisis.
So Isaac, with this, I think that this could be an answer for landlords and tenants who are possibly facing eviction. Can it happen the day after, like August 1st?
Well, I mean, landlords could file on August 1st, which is the day after the moratorium ends, but the person asking the question is right. It does take some time. It's usually after you file at least a week to 2 weeks before you can get your court date.
Okay. These last couple of questions that came in, can a working person behind in rent in Forsyth County get help and where? Yes, you can. You need to call the county and you need to ask them about their rent and utilities assistance program. Same thing in High Point. Where do you go for help? You're going to call Guilford County. They are the ones who are going to be administering your funds there for that. All right. And as I look through here, this person is asking, can a landlord up your rent if the lease is done and it's a new lease? Isaac?
Yeah, so if the original lease has expired and the landlord wants to sign a new lease with the tenant, they can ask the tenant to agree to more rent. The tenant doesn't have to agree to that, but that may mean that the landlord just decides not to offer another lease, in which case the tenant may have to move out.
Okay. Laura, this question is, about how long does it take when you go to apply for the HOPE program for your bills to be paid?
So we're averaging about 14 days if all of the paperwork is in place. So you need your lease, you need your utility bills, and you need for your landlord to sign what they need to sign. But if everything's in order, it's as quick as 14 days.
As quick as 14 days. And this person says, what happens if you got some money from the HOPE program? Do you have to reapply?
You do. So if you are a previous recipient of HOPE assistance, you need to check your email. We have emailed you the link that you need to use to reapply to come back in, because we have to capture those first few months that we paid for so that we don't overpay on any one application.
All right. And then the next question was, what are the requirements for HOPE or for the money for the cities and counties? So can you quickly just go over the high points there, Laura?
Sure. For the HOPE program, you need to be at or below 80% of the area median income. You need to be a renter, and you need to have had a COVID impact. So you need to be able to attest to a COVID impact. You do not have to be late on your rent, but you do have to show that you have had trouble paying rent or utilities since the pandemic began.
All right. And I'm guessing that many of those criteria are the same
Many are the same for Guilford County, yes.
Okay, but a COVID impact doesn't necessarily mean that you lost your job. It can be something else, correct, Randall?
It does not mean you lost your job. It could be a reduction of income. It could be extra household expenses related to COVID, such as childcare, remote learning. There's various things that we can look at as far as the impact of COVID for a family.
Okay, and quickly before we leave, Isaac, anything that you think you want to let people know about as we have these last couple of weeks left?
Yeah, I would just encourage tenants that have not done so to go ahead and apply for assistance. I mean, just again, remember that the moratorium has kept many evictions from happening, but it has not relieved tenants of their obligation to pay rent. So apply and apply early.
Okay, thank you all for lending your time and your expertise. We so appreciate it. For those of you who are joining us, maybe you just joined us for the last segment, maybe you've been watching the whole time, you want to get clarification on things, look in the 2 Wants to Know section. We're going to put all of these segments as well as resources and phone numbers for you as well.